All right, so I have a little bit of a different video this week. This week was going to be Hollow Knight, but due to some unfortunate circumstances, I didn't get an episode recorded for you. So instead, I decided this week I was going to introduce a video series I'm actually kind of excited for. So I guess I'll begin by saying what this video series is. It will be a collection of short stories and just informational text that I read out and I narrate that I have been writing. So I've been working on a fictional universe for shit, over a year now. I don't know, something like that. A year or two on this specific fictional universe. I've been planning it out and thinking about it and coming up with wonderful ideas, or at least ideas that I find wonderful. But I haven't really wrote them down because I struggle to write things down just to write in general. I never really enjoyed writing growing up. I didn't find it fun or entertaining. I liked reading, but I was never much of a writer. And so for me, this video series will be a chance for me to write and for me to experiment in that medium, as well as sharing with all of you viewers something that I'm really passionate about and something I really care about. And so I kind of want to explain in this short introduction video what this series will be, and what this universe is. And so, like I said, it's going to be a collection of short stories and informational text that I read out. And the short stories I'll kind of do like an audiobook format, and then it'll be followed by informational text, which is more of kind of just the lore. Like if you want the direct from the horse's mouth, this is what this is. This is what this means. That's what the informational text will be. And the short stories will go over various genres, and they'll cover different topics, including like notable people of this fictional universe, places in this fictional universe, things such as like the magic system, the technology level, the lifestyle or living situations of the people, that kind of thing. That'll be in the short stories and the text entries. That's what it's going to cover. So, for instance, the first story I wrote, which won't be the first story I publish, is about the judges. And the judges are part of a law enforcement thing, but they're not like judges we would have, whereas, like, they rule over the courts and they do stuff. These judges are more of like a boogeyman that punishes criminals caught in the act. So if you're caught stealing, and a judge is present, you're probably going to go missing. Finger quotes around the missing. I know this is a audio format and not a visual format, but it's fine. And so that's what I'm kind of going to do. And so, like, some stories will be in the horror genre, some stories will be in the action genre, some will be in the thriller genre. It really just depends. Most stories will kind of fit into the more serious of topics. There will be some like lighthearted, fun stories, but a lot of these are going to be more of a dark tone, more of a serious tone. And I just want to make sure that that's clear, so that when I start putting these stories out, people can come back to this video and be like, oh, Saint said that this is kind of what's going to be. So if I'm not really into that, maybe I don't watch this content. Maybe you do. The goal of this series is more of a selfish thing than me just providing good content. The goal is for me to improve my writing skills and to get me to actually write and share my work, because even a shitty idea written down, and I say shitty and I more mean even a mediocre idea written down, can affect someone and change their life. Whereas an idea, even if it's the best idea ever, if it's never written down or it's never shared, it's not going to impact anyone. It's not going to do anything. And so that's kind of the idea I have for this series is I'm going to get my stories out there. I know I'm not the best writer. I'm fully aware of that. I have no illusion to being some Brandon Sanderson level author. I know I'm not. But I want to share my writings and my works with you guys because I mean, I already share my sense of humor and my video game skills as mediocre as good as they can be. And so really sharing my writing skills is no different. And so with that in mind, that's kind of the goal, is just to share what I'm doing and to get it out there. And then this video series is also a predecessor to another project that I want to do at some point in the future. But through writing all this stuff down and doing this with the fictional universe, it's going to help me when eventually I come to that other project, which at a later date I will reveal. Right now I'm not going to because it's nowhere near ready for any sort of production or publishing. So I guess I don't really have a release schedule planned. I don't have, oh, I'm going to put out this episode this week, this episode that week, blah, 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 blah. I don't have any intention to do that. And right now I know that's not in the cards for me. School starts up again in a little bit, and so I'm going to be busier with that as well. But I do know that the first few episodes, probably 2 or 3, will cover information about the world and the universe itself. So that's like the history, the location of where all these short stories will take place. Like I mentioned earlier, the magic and the technology of the setting, how advanced the people are, how I know there's a word for it, but all I can think of is not advanced, and I know that's not fancy, but whatever. How unrefined the people are. And I'm doing it this way because there is a podcast that I have listened to that I really enjoy. It's called the Aetherin Dark Saga podcast, and it's a dark fantasy podcast. And when I say dark, I mean like it's dark. There's some seriously heavy topics that are gone over in that story. You can find it on Spotify, and I think it's wonderful. The author, and his name escapes me at the moment, is wonderful. I love his story. It is completed, and by completed I mean he's no longer producing episodes for the story. He explained on Twitter, but I guess now, this will date the episode, it's no longer called Twitter, it's called X. He explained that he had some family stuff come up as well as a job change, and so he can't produce episodes for the series anymore, which is very sad because I thoroughly enjoyed it, but life happens, life gets in the way of stuff, I get it. But yeah, I highly recommend it if you think you can stomach that kind of content. And so in the beginning of that podcast, in the beginning of that series, the first, I think, 3 episodes, he goes over like the world, the pantheon of gods, and the like different peoples and magics in the world. And because of that, I think that's a wonderful idea because it'll give you, the audience, the ability to go back and listen to those episodes in case you're like, oh, okay, what is this again? Or what is that? Because then that way he doesn't have to give a bunch of exposition in the story explaining who, what, where, when, why, blah, 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 blah. And he can be more subtle about it and just give references or nods to it. And that's kind of the goal for me in the first few episodes, is I want to give the history of the city. That's going to be the primary focus, the magics and the technology available, and that kind of thing. The characters and the people involved, that will be like episode by episode, because that's not exactly something you're going to need to know, and I'll label the episodes accordingly. So if someone's mentioned and you don't recognize them, as I get more content out, you'll be able to go find the episode that talks about that person, and you can re-listen to it and whatnot. Um, yeah, I don't really have much else to say regarding this series other than I'm super excited to get started with it. I've been working with my friend Janimio. All viewers of my channel will know him. They'll be quite familiar with him. He's helped me a lot on writing and encouraging me to write my stuff down, because he graduated from college with a degree in English. He loves writing fiction and fantasy. And he's helped me a lot improve my stuff. And so I can't say thank you enough to him. And I know he'll listen to this episode. Janimio, thank you. You're a real one. I couldn't do this without you. Literally encouraged and inspired me to do this series and stuff. And so I really appreciate you. For you, the audience, I would not beg you, but I would ask that you like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. It's really helpful. I read all of the comments and I reply to, I think, all of them as well. There might be a few in my past videos I've missed, but I do read them all and I try to respond to every one of them. And if you feel I've earned a subscription, please give it to me. It's free. It doesn't do anything but help me and my channel. And yeah, next week's video will be Hollow Knight. I can promise you that. This week was supposed to be, but like I said, some stuff came in the way, and so next week will be Hollow Knight, and you have that to look forward to. But that's all I have to say, so thank you for watching. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next one.